Welcome to the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom podcast with Jacob Ayers, providing actionable content to help you along your journey to financial freedom through real estate investing. As the premier asset class, real estate has helped ordinary people just like you amass fortunes. The benefits of passive income from real estate investing will allow you to live a life you want. And now your host, entrepreneur, real estate investor, and apartment deal syndicator, Jacob Ayers.
Hi, and welcome to the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom podcast, episode 163. Hi, I'm your host, Jacob Ayers, and you are listening to another episode of Friday Fundamentals. As always, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for tuning in. This podcast will air on November 30th, the last day in the month. And with that, recently I had a friend reach out and say, hey, we're approaching December. Times are slow. Should I just chill and wait for the real estate market to pick back up and properties to start coming on the market in January after the new year? And my response was, no, absolutely not. This is the time to put your foot on the gas and keep going because everybody else is sitting and relaxing and catching up and taking some much needed downtime. So for everyone out there listening, keep your foot on the gas, keep going, power through the new year, go back and revisit your goals and see what you still have left to accomplish, and then take the last month of the year to really power through and finish strong. And then, of course, don't forget to spend some time and relax with your friends and family for the holidays. But as always, there's a balance with everything, right? So enough of that. Let's get into this week's Friday Fundamental. This week's Friday Fundamental is how to fail. Yeah, how to fail. Well, we spend much of our lives chasing success, however we define it. We go to great lengths to be successful, or at least appear successful. At our cores, we want food, shelter, and security for ourselves and our families. And then from there, success is really a rabbit hole with no end. From nice cars to big houses, good jobs, and comfortable or even luxurious lifestyles, we're constantly looking for an easier life. To many, success is living an easy life with no to little worries about food, money, shelter, safety, etc. But success doesn't come without failures. In fact, success is found in failure. Success is found in hardship. Success is found in trials and tribulations. We go to great lengths to avoid failure at all costs. But if success is what you're searching for, then perhaps you should consider failure and learn how to fail. If you can fail correctly, then success is inevitable. See, failure is seen as something that is avoidable and should be avoided. From a young age, we are taught that failure is bad. From our education to recreation, failure is not an applauded accomplishment. We think of success as much of avoiding failure as we do accomplishing something. But failure can be a signal of something good, so long as you are learning from your failures. Failures are only such if you quit and do not learn from the lessons within. Failure shouldn't be avoided, but rather embraced. John Maxwell said, "Fail early and fail often, but always fail forward." What a great quote. Let's look at this in a little bit more depth and break it down, looking at each of those pieces individually. Fail early. In other words, get started now. Don't wait. Be willing to make mistakes early on. Don't let the fear of failure delay you from getting started. By making mistakes and failing, you are learning. If you wait to get started until you feel like you are 100% ready and won't make any mistakes, then you will likely never get started in the first place. Fail often. Push yourself to your limits and then past them. If you aren't failing, then you aren't trying hard enough. If the lessons are in failures, then how many failures should you aim for? 1? 10? 100? 10,000? Failing is often an indicator you are pushing yourself and constantly growing. And then finally, John Maxwell says, always fail forward. Learn from your failures. If you come out the other side from a failure in a better place with more knowledge, experience, and lessons learned, then you are failing forward. Don't let your failures set you back. Don't let them knock you down. Rather, look at failures as lessons and learn from them. Use them going forward. Learn from them, implement those lessons learned, and continue on your path towards success. People tend to make more mistakes trying to avoid failures than they would if they embraced them and learned from them. If you avoid failure so much as to never attempt anything, then that in itself is true failure. Don't avoid failure, rather embrace it. Try not to make the same mistakes twice. Don't fail because you're doing the same thing over and over and over again incorrectly. If you find yourself repeatedly making the same mistake, then dig to the root of it and solve it there. And don't let a single failure get you down. Remember, it's only a failure if you give up and do not learn from it. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed, I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work." So for Thomas Edison, that number for him was 10,000. Map your path to success. Plan for some failures. Understand how to handle those failures and account for them along the way. Soon enough, you'll have failed so many times that you have no other option than success. Well, that wraps up this week's Friday Fundamentals. Hey, I hope you're getting value from these shows. If you like them, please let me know by leaving a rating and review on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, whatever platform you're out there listening on. Well, on last week's podcast, I mentioned reaching out to me if you would like to talk about real estate, reviewing deals, possibly talking about opportunities to invest with me. And I've had tons of great feedback from audience members out there. So if you haven't yet and you'd love to reach out and contact me, maybe just with a simple question or say hello on social media or whatever it is, please do so. The best way to get in touch with me is at www.jacobayers.com/contact. So stop by, say hello, say hi, ask any questions you've got. I'd love to hear from you. Till next week, engineer the lifestyle you want.
You've been listening to the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom podcast, providing you actionable content to build your real estate empire. Nothing on this show should be considered specific, personal, or professional advice. Please consult an appropriate tax, legal, real estate, financial, or business professional for personal advice. The opinions of guests are their own. Information is not guaranteed. All investment strategies have a potential for profit or loss. The host is operating on behalf of the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom, LLC, exclusively.